In this lecture, I am discussing about synthetic event. Let's straight away jump into the code to understand what synthetic event is. Here in this code, let us just remove this arrow function and also these parentheses. So now we just have onClick and the get data in the curly brackets. Just observe what I am doing right now. Now with the get data function, I just write a parameter here. I give a name E. Remember, this E can be any name, it doesn't matter. Now let's try to display the value of E and see what happens. As you can see that the output says it's a synthetic base event. Now if I expand this, then you see that there are various properties and methods. And you also see that there is a property called target property. We will be using and working with target property or even few other properties as and when needed. So now here you see that this E, that is the value of E, is displaying the same values which is displayed when you try to refer the event object inside JavaScript. Important point is I am not passing any parameter with getData when I call, but I have written E as it is receiving the event related data, and this E is synthetic event. As I mentioned, JavaScript also has an event object, so you can consider this E somewhat like that. Remember, synthetic event is a cross-browser wrapper around the browser's native event. So you don't need to worry about cross-browser compatibility. Again, I emphasize that E, which you can name whatever you want to, is a synthetic event and React defines it according to W3C specifications. Now, as we have seen this E.target earlier, let me try E.target directly in the code. Instead of this E, I'll just say E.target. Let me just refresh. So now you see that it displays the reference of the button directly, that is the HTML element. Now in case if you want to get the content of the HTML element, I can also write E.target.innerHTML. So these are all JavaScript ways to deal with the elements, and the same thing we have here with the help of synthetic event. So let's try E.target.innerHTML. Now if I run, you see that it displays only the content of the element. If it is an HTML element with content, you can use inner HTML property. But if it's an input, then depending on the type, that is it's a text box, checkbox, radio buttons, or maybe elements like select, which gives you drop down, they will have a different way to refer the value. In short, when you say E.target, that means you are going to get the reference of the element which actually raised the event. So this is going to be very useful in few forthcoming sections and for React development as well. In the next section, we will try to refer the value inside the input text, that is the text box. Now let's talk about relative questions. The first question is, what is a synthetic event in React.js? So a synthetic event, as we see that there is a wrapper around the native browser event object, and that is passed to every function automatically. Remember, you do not need to pass this object. It is automatically received when, let's say, you have this onClick function, and that function, when it is called, it will have the value received, that is the reference of event will be received inside this E. And also you name whatever you want to, but it will remain the synthetic event only. The second question is, write code to get content of a division. So again, when you have to do this, let me just try to say a division here instead of button. So I'll say a division, and here also I'll say division. So now you have the division and it's going to call the get data. I'm not going to display the target. Certainly I'm going to say inner HTML. So I will get the content of this division. So in case if I have an H1 here, let's say H1 test and I end H1 here. So this also becomes the content of division. So I get that content when I say console log. So let me just refresh and I click on this division. So you see that you get the content of the division.